She lived life the way she wanted to and made her dreams come true.
Hello, beautiful being. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Trini LaShawn and I'm a spiritual worker. In this video, I'm sharing why it's important to know your natal chart and what the purpose of a natal chart is and why you should care about it. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that if you have never run your natal chart in a generator, there is a link below in the description box where you can visit that link and put in certain information about yourself, and it will produce a natal chart for you. So the information that they'll ask you for is your birth date, your place of birth, and your time of birth. And typically the only one that's a problem for most people is knowing your time of birth. So if you don't know your time of birth, go ahead and click on unknown, and just know that that is a little bit more general. So your report that will be produced for you by the website is going to be a little bit more general. It won't be necessarily as exact as if you had your exact time of birth. Now, if you know an estimated time of your birth, you can play around with it a little bit. So you can put in, like, say if you know that you were born around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can put in 3 o'clock and run that report. 3:15, run that report. 2:45 and run that report. And sort of compare and contrast just to get an idea of the differences that there might be in your chart. Okay, so what is a natal chart? So this is a copy of mine, and mine is old and tattered and worn from so much use, because what you'll come to understand once you generate your free report is that it really is a map of who you are. It's sort of a book about you. I really feel that is how you're going to feel when you read it. So what it technically is a map of the planetary alignments and their placements at the very time that you were born. Now, depending on how those planetary placements, how the planets align with one another and how they interact with one another, and the transits that were in place during the time of your birth, that will play a huge hand in how you view life. Okay, so what you'll notice is when you look through your chart, this is how it'll look. It'll have subheadings, and it'll have charts to tell you what planets are in your particular houses. And houses are just different aspects of you. So, like, for example, your first house is your identity, yourself. It's how you present yourself to the world. Your second house is how you value wealth and resources. Okay, so it has a lot to do with how you spend money. So you can see that with knowing what planets were in your particular house and how they align with one another, that has a huge impact on how you live your life and the decisions and choices that you make and the patterns that you set up throughout your life. So when you generate the report, go through and just take some time, set aside some time one day and just read about it, because it really is like reading a book about you. Okay, so you'll read about the different planetary alignments and see how that impacts you, and then see what resonates as far as, okay, this says that I might have this particular attitude about money. I see that, like, I've felt that all my life, but I never really knew why. Well, there you go. Or it can also open up a huge door to understanding your, how you view sexuality, or how you relate to your lover, plural, singular. So it definitely is an eye-opening experience as far as how you go through life and how you set up your relationships. Your natal chart really is a huge indicator of the strengths and the weaknesses that play out in your life. So, for example, I have Venus in my second house. Okay. So, once I became aware of that, like nobody ever told me growing up, you should know your natal chart. This is important to understanding who you are. So once I became aware of that, I understood that, okay, I love beautiful things. I tend to overspend sometimes. It really opened my eyes as to why I had that behavior of enjoying spending money. Okay. Also, I have Mercury in my 12th house. So Mercury is the planet of communication. Your 12th house is your expansion of spirituality. So therefore, with Mercury in my 12th house, I am easily able to communicate with spirits. Okay. So I didn't know that about myself before. But once I came into that understanding and that awareness of myself, it made complete and total sense. So really having a copy of your natal chart and digging into it and understanding it is really something that anybody who wants to increase their knowledge and awareness of self and have a greater understanding of how and why they interact in certain ways with other people and with money and with education and with their career, it really is vital. And it's a very amazing tool for you to, just dig into who you are and your way of being. It's very important whenever I talk to people about their astrological chart or their natal chart to emphasize the awareness of the fact that your natal chart is an explanation of the energies, the planetary energies that are within you, as above, so below. So understand that everything that you see when you look up at the sky at night, that resides within you as well. Those energies of Mercury, of Mars, of Venus, of Jupiter, of Pluto, of Neptune, of Uranus, all of them are at play within you, okay? So your natal chart is just an understanding of how that will impact you. However, you are still the master of your fate. We as human beings, we have free will. So one thing that really I'm on a mission to help people understand that it is not true. Just because you have a particular sun sign or just because you have a particular planetary alignment within your chart does not mean that that's your fate, okay? So perfect example, I'm a Cancer sun sign. Just because I'm a Cancer sun does not mean that I'm going to say, oh, I always let people walk over me. I'm nurturing to the point where I let people walk over me and take advantage of me, and that's just my life. I'm set up for that. No. If there's a negative aspect to anything within my chart, I have the power to fix that, to change that, to improve that aspect of myself. Okay? And that's the benefit of, or one of the benefits of having your natal chart always at hand, because as you look through your natal chart, you'll understand that your sun sign is just the tip of the iceberg. Your sun sign is the way that you sort of present yourself to the world. It's all of these energies are at play within yourself, and then your sun sign is how that looks to the world. But there's a whole lot that you can dig into that goes on within yourself. You have a sun sign, you have a moon sign, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay, so for example, I have Cancer sun sign, so I have found in the past that I have allowed people to walk over me and I've been a little bit too nurturing to people. However, I also am a Capricorn moon, so that energy is a little bit more, it's ruled by Saturn, so it's more like authoritarian, it's more like this is how we're gonna do it. It's viewed as a little bit more cold, but I find that Capricorn energy can be absolutely beautiful for getting things done. And so when I want to balance that Cancer energy, I just tap into my Capricorn energy. So I promise you that wherever in your chart you find that there is something that you want to change, there is another energy that is at play within you that you can tap into in order to bring balance. And that ultimately is what it's all about. It's finding balance, harmony, and unity among all of the planetary energies that are within you, okay, that impact how you live your life, so that you are able to live a life that you're content with, and where you feel balanced and in harmony. And as within, so without. So while we're unifying those energies within ourselves, we're also trying to do that outside of ourselves. So blacks and whites coming together, no matter what differences exist among us, we are trying to unify the human race. And so as that's going on with, around us, that is also what we have to do within ourselves to produce harmony and unity. Your natal chart is really an amazing tool to be able to use that to tap into, okay? Because in all honesty, if you don't know yourself, what can you do? What can you do? You have to know yourself, okay? It all begins with self. So if there is something within you that you don't really like, or that brings you disappointment, or you find that you keep overspending, or you keep falling in love with the wrong person, or you keep or the wrong people, or you don't like the way that you're interacting with your children, and it just feels like something that's very innate to you, and you're frustrated by it, understand that there are different energies at play. So we have past life experiences which bring about our karma. But then there are also these planetary energies, and that is a huge part of how we interact with other people and how we play out our life. So understand that just because your natal chart says that this is how you view something, or this is how you react to a particular thing in your life, that is not gloom and doom. That is not, oh, this is just how my life is, this is how it's going to be. No. When you review your entire chart, you will see that there are other energies at play that you can use or tap into to balance you, okay? So just like I spoke about that Cancer Sun energy, Capricorn Moon, a lot of people look at that and they say, oh, well, then you're just all over the place. I don't see it as that. Now, before I had this self-awareness, yeah, I was all over the place. I felt with my Capricorn sign, I was like motivated to make money, and I had this drive and blah, blah, blah. And then the moon child aspect of me, the Cancer aspect, was like, let's just all get along, and let me just, go out and do some, some magic, and let's all be unicorns and rainbows. And so I hadn't found the balance in my signs, okay? But when you know your chart, it really is a huge eye-opening experience to who you are, and you get to see the whole picture, and then you can tap into those certain energies. So another thing, I already spoke about Cancer Sun, Capricorn Moon, and how that actually helps me now that I'm aware of those differences. But also I have Lilith in Scorpio, and Lilith in Scorpio, let me tell you, she's known as this alignment, this planetary alignment is known as the executioner, the destroyer, okay? So I used to do a lot of things that were harming myself, because that was that Lilith energy that I didn't know yet to appreciate and how to nurture her. Now that I understand that, I'm able to balance it perfectly, and I'm like, okay, a lot of people see Lilith energy as dark and devilish. There's nothing devilish about it. If you know how to work that energy, let me tell you, it is beautiful. And so I tap into that energy now to balance that Cancer Sun that's always so kind and caring and skipping off into the sunset and let's cry it out and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and all of that. So now I'm able to completely balance it out. It's a daily thing where you realize, okay, in this moment, I'm letting this particular energy run the show. Let me go ahead and tap into this energy so I can bring some balance to that. And these energies, the planetary alignments, are honestly gifts from the universe that you are able to charge and take control of and implement in your life to bring complete and total harmony to who you are. They're tools. They're tools. And so, yes, I think I'll leave it there. And definitely be sure to go to that website that I've linked below and print out your chart. Make some time to yourself. Just leave at least an hour to print it out or save it, because ink is expensive, but print it out and or save it, and then just make sure that you can refer to it so that it's there with you. You know, like I keep mine clipped and I always have it. I love having my natal chart. It's very precious to me. I've learned so much about myself from digging into this information, and you will as well. I know it, okay? Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a video. I upload often, so you don't want to miss it. And also be sure to visit my website at inherdreamsintuitive.com so you can see a list of the services that I provide. Leave a comment, email me, get in touch with me, and I wish you peace, joy, and many blessings. Take care.